Warmly welcome all of you to your Legislative Assembly building. It is a tremendous honor for me to be here again this evening for this wonderful event, to join in marking the beginning of the Festival of Lights, the celebration of Hanukah. It is a time for you to enjoy the fellowship of family and friends, and indeed it's a time for all of us to enjoy that same fellowship. It's a time to give thanks. At this Hanukah, all of us in Saskatchewan should join together in giving thanks, for we have much for which to be grateful. First of all, we are Canadians. We are among the most fortunate people on the planet. And moreover, we're doubly blessed, I think, I'm a little biased, we're doubly blessed to be residents of the great province of Saskatchewan. Truly a province with a future that is as limitless as a prairie sky. Thanks to the providential blessings that we enjoy and resources, but mostly thanks to the people that call Saskatchewan home, that have built this province. We are blessed as well for the great contribution, historic and current, of the Jewish community that has made Saskatchewan all the richer, that has made this province all the more vibrant. The Jewish community has done this through the many and varied contributions well known in this part of the legislature as we meet tonight. And all of us should be grateful for your presence. 75 years ago, a Jewish boy from Shiho, Saskatchewan, named Jack Cates, reflected on the qualities that made Canada such a special place. And those observations, delivered in a speech written for his grade 7 elocution contest, which he won, by the way, in Shiho, Saskatchewan, are as relevant today as they were when he said them in 1939. The speech was entitled, "Why I Am Glad I Am a Canadian." In his memoirs, Jack Cates wrote later that he was glad to be a Canadian because, first of all, and he mentioned this on that occasion of that elocution contest, first of all because, and I quote, "I knew life in Canada had always been better than in Europe because whenever I left food on my plate, Mama always scolded me. Eat, the children in Europe are hungry." Jack was glad to be a Canadian because his parents had told him of the horrible pogroms in Russia, where Jews were hunted and killed for sport. He was glad to be a Canadian because in Canada, education through grade 12 was free. He said he was glad to be a Canadian because Canada was a democracy. And finally, Jack Cates was glad to be a Canadian, he said, because Canadians were patriots. 75 years ago, that 11-year-old boy watched as the patriots of Shiho and the surrounding area signed up to join the fight against Nazi tyranny. 13 of those patriots from Shiho and area would not return. They were lost in that war. And Jack Cates would later write that the tight-knit community of Shiho was permanently scarred for their loss. Tonight we gather to remember another group of patriots, Jewish patriots, led by Judah Maccabee. Who was Judah Maccabee anyway? Well, that question was posed by Rabbi Shimon Appisdorf in his book on Hanukah. And here's his answer, and I quote, "Close your eyes and picture Arnold Schwarzenegger. His Uzi has just jammed. He's got one arm in a sling. He's about to take on 300 bad guys all at once, and he's wearing a yarmulke." That's who Judah Maccabee was. This was a nightmare if you were a Greek soldier serving in Judea more than 2,000 years ago. The army led by Judah Maccabee defended the Jewish faith against seemingly impossible odds and won, as we know and mark well tonight, a monumental victory. We gather tonight in the spirit of friendship, people from different faith traditions and diverse backgrounds to commemorate that victory. We come together to light the Menorah, a symbol that has meaning for all of us. It's the flame of hope that vanquishes the despair of darkness. And we celebrate that miracle, the candle with enough oil to burn for one day that lasted 8. Through the ages, the combatants have changed, haven't they? But the basic conflict has remained the same. Those who cherish freedom and tolerance and love must confront and subdue the forces of hatred and bigotry and cruelty. It is an eternal struggle, a battle that ebbs and flows, but a battle that must be joined anew almost each day. A battle that must be fought and one that we must surely win, whatever the front. whatever the format. And today I believe we are surely winning it. The flame of hope burns in many places around the world. And there is an unseen line that stretches from that miracle candle to the one that we will light tonight. It burns brightly in the province of Saskatchewan. And if we remain vigilant, ladies and gentlemen, if we are steadfast in the defense of those values enumerated by Jack Cates 75 years ago in that grade 7 elocution contest, the flame will burn brighter still. And it must always burn. The light that shines in our darkest nights shines on the road we must travel together, all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of a grateful province, on behalf of the people of Saskatchewan, it is my great, great pleasure to welcome you to your Legislative Assembly, to recognize the great contributions of our Jewish community, and to wish you all a very, very happy Hanukah.